Let's proceed. It is page number 27. Then the old man took a piece of string from around his neck that had a rag tied to it. He unfolded the rag and took from it four blonde hair, the same color as the hair of the girl who now sat beside him. He took the hair into his hand, then he looked at the girl with wonder. Dr. Manette, so after talking a little with Miss Manette, Dr. Manette, he took out a piece of string from from around his neck that had a rag tied to it. He unfolded it and took out four locks of blonde hair. He matched it with the girl's hair who is sitting next to him, and he was completely surprised because the color of the hair is same. Next page, page number 28. How can it be? When I was brought to Bastille, she laid her head on my chest, and when she was taken from me, I found them, and I said, I will keep them. They may not help me escape in body, but they will in mind. So, after discovering this thing that the color of the hair is matching completely, Dr. Manette he became shocked and surprised, and he is sharing his old memory here. When he was brought to Bastille, he is giving reference. He is giving reference of a little girl here, that he said that she was resting on my chest when they, means the authorities, have taken her from him. He said that, but these blonde hair are with me ever since that time. Dr. Manette told here to Miss Manette, then when he was brought to Bastille, his little daughter was taken away from him. So that little girl was Dr. Manette's daughter, but the locks of her blonde hair remained with him. He told the authorities who were taking his daughter away from him that the departure from his little angel was only physical. They can't take her out from his thoughts. He took the hair again. Was it you who laid your head on my chest? No, it cannot be. You are too young. So he looked at the hair, and he just matched the hair with the girls sitting beside him. So he is questioning to himself and giving answer to giving answer. He said that, was that girl, maybe that girl uh, is none other than you are the same girl, I guess. But again he is giving the answer to him, no, 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 that is not possible. You can't be that girl. Why? Because you are too young, and she is little at that time when the authorities have separated both the father and the daughter. When Defarge and Laurie realized that the old man was responding to his daughter, they moved closer. Miss Manette spoke gently. Don't, gentlemen, do not speak, do not move. So M. Defarge and Mr. Laurie, they they both realize that thing, that Dr. Manette is responding well to Miss Manette, and they tried to come closer to listen their conversation, but Miss Manette stopped them. The sound of her voice awakened something long forgotten in the poor soul. Whose voice was that? I know that voice. Who are you, my angel? So, Miss Manette's voice revived the old forgotten memories of Dr. Manette. It infused some life in him. Dr. Manette recognized that soft voice and asked her, "Who are you?" It seemed to him that this voice is familiar to him. "I can't tell you my name now and who my mother and father were. It is not the time and this is not the place. For now, please just hold me." So Miss Manette, she made Dr. Manette calm by saying that she couldn't tell him her identity because it is not right time and place to say all these things. Miss Manette laid her head on the old man's shoulder so that her radiant hair shone upon his cold white head. Like the light of freedom, she held him close and rocked him to her like a child. I have come to tell you that your pain is over. I am taking you to England where you will have peace and rest. So after that, both Miss Manette, she laid her head on Dr. Manette's shoulder, and both father and daughter, they showered love, affection, and care to each other. Miss Manette, she informed Dr. Manette that she came here in France to take Dr. Manette along with her to England, where he is going to get peace of mind and sufficient rest. That is the thing that he needed the most at this point of life. Laurie looked at Defarge with concern on his face. "Do you think he is fit to travel?" "Better to travel than to stay in this place." So Mr. Lorry, he became thoughtful after just having a look at the poor plight of Dr. Manette. So he asked Defarge that whether he is fit to travel in this condition, and Defarge replied that it's better to travel back to England rather than living in this place.